So do you think we're in a bubble? Do you think we're at peak VC?
Oh,
Where are we?
I think we're in a huge bubble.
Are we in a bubble? Is this back to 1999?
Sure.
No. It is interesting to note that the companies that people think are overvalued today generally either have billions of dollars of revenue.
Probably an order of magnitude more good investment opportunities in the venture capital industry than there was a decade ago.
We actually live in a time when most people no longer think of technology as a fundamentally good thing.
Tech giants are increasingly under scrutiny from politicians, regulators, and experts.
Because what we don't talk about is a handful of people working at a handful of technology companies, through their choices, will steer what a billion people are thinking today.
I believe, actually I know, these companies should be broken up.
Has Ireland given illegal tax incentives to Apple? The European Commission orders the US tech giant to repay billions of dollars in tax.
The tycoons of social media have to stop pretending that they're friendly nerd gods building a better world.
Silicon Valley companies have permeated our everyday lives, but when does their influence go too far?
It literally is a point now where I think we have created tools that are ripping apart the social fabric of how society works.
The continued controversy over fake news, misinformation, and hate speech on the internet.
He tweeted, "My account was taken down for 11 minutes by a rogue employee."
Founder and CEO Mark Zuckerberg announcing the social media giant plans to turn over 3,000 Russian-linked ads to Congress and special counsel Robert Mueller.
How do you feel misrepresented?
A lot of what the media has been saying is that I'm anti-diversity. I think that women are less capable of being engineers, and that's just really false.
Over the past few weeks, some key members of the Silicon Valley venture capital world have been outed in the press for sexual harassment.
In February, former engineer Susan Fowler wrote a blog post alleging repeated sexual harassment and sexism inside the 12,000-person company.
What do we know, first of all, about what Amazon knew about Roy Price and when?
The most recent complaint is against Dave McClure.
Well, SoFi is the latest high-profile Silicon Valley company to face accusations of an unrestrained workplace culture.
How many of you here have experienced what you consider to be sexual harassment?
Reportedly losing 200,000 customers after Uber refused to strike during a protest against President Trump's proposed travel ban.
The American Civil Liberties Union will learn how to turn the $24 million it raised over the weekend into growth and progress with help from top Silicon Valley startup accelerator.
Just weeks later, a video of Kalanick berating an Uber driver went viral. Later that month, Uber suspended its self-driving car program after a crash in Arizona. The crash came just days after Uber president Jeff Jones suddenly quit after 6 months on the job. In May, the Justice Department opened a criminal investigation to a secret Uber Greyball tool.
Capital Partners, which is a 13% stake in Uber, is suing to remove former Chief Executive Officer Travis Kalanick.
Kara, we were glued to your Twitter account and to Recode over the weekend. You were the first to break this story.
So Waymo claims that Uber has taken their technology for self-driving cars.
Apple is suing Qualcomm, piling onto the lawsuit train just ahead of the weekend.
Apple actually sued Qualcomm. There's been a great deal of back and forth. We've gone through it a number of times.
What we're seeing here is the cableization of the internet.
Panel voted along party lines to repeal what's called net neutrality, the Obama-era regulations.
A major so-called ransomware attack is underway worldwide, with more than 75,000 attacks reported.
Now, with that massive security breach possibly putting 143 million Americans at risk, hackers targeting credit monitoring company Equifax.
Spoiler alert, HBO has been hacked.
There's been a lot of talk about whether the British government will force companies like WhatsApp to introduce a backdoor into their encryption.
Cryptocurrency. Is this some fake some nerds made up on the internet to steal our money, or is it the future of finance?
Good expert analysis now. Jordan Belfort calls Bitcoin a fraud.
I think this thing is $100,000 a coin, probably in the next 3 to 4 years.
Bitcoin has risen more than 100% in the last 2 months.
An Inglewood man says he lost his life savings after investing all his money in the digital currency.
We think that automation is going to define the automobile in the next decade.
General Motors buys a self-driving technology startup.
This is a massive deal for Intel. Why do this deal now?
It is the battle of tech titans over the future of artificial intelligence. In one corner of the ring, Tesla's Elon Musk warning that AI may be a potentially existential threat to the human race.
It doesn't matter whether you're working in a factory or sitting at a desk or working in the service sector, that job is ultimately going to be threatened by machine learning.
What we want to be able to do is develop systems that are open enough, transparent enough that human judgment, human imagination, creativity are still intruding.
Amazon is buying organic grocery giant Whole Foods for $13.7 billion.
Verizon finally announced its plans to buy internet giant Yahoo.
Google is buying HTC.
You've been aggressive on M&A on a smaller scale. Are you open to larger for-revenue acquisitions?
Well, we're open to any acquisition that aligns strategically with where we need to go.
Broadcom bidding for Qualcomm, $60 a share, $10 of that in stock.
Absolutely can say about Snap is it is the most valuable IPO since Facebook in 2012.
How much are they going to eventually have clocked up? Is it the full 100 billion?
WeWork gets $4.4 billion investment from SoftBank.
The Vision Fund is also making a $200 million bet on indoor farms. So let's start with SoftBank. How do those conversations start and proceed?
Major investment for Uber. SoftBank reportedly nearing a deal to take a substantial stake in the ride-hailing company.
This is iPhone 10.
Magic Leap finally revealed its elusive mixed reality goggles.
The absolute slumping in the cost of producing solar energy. What's behind all of this?
Well, I think it surprised a lot of people. Most of it is improvements in technology.